I was 7 years into what I thought was a perfect marriage when my wife Jessica came home late that Friday and uttered those four words that would change everything. "I'm leaving you, Alfredo." The strange part, I felt oddly calm. Maybe deep down I already knew something was wrong. Maybe I sensed the freedom that would come next. What I never expected was how her stepsister Sophia would become my unexpected savior in all this chaos. Before I continue with my story, where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments, hit subscribe, and stick around to see how my wife went from leaving me to desperately wanting me back. 7 years ago, I thought I had it all figured out. I met Jessica at a charity gala where I was showcasing some of my architectural designs. She was stunning in a red dress, confidently working the room as a rising star in her marketing firm. We locked eyes across the crowded ballroom, and within minutes she had charmed me with her ambitious outlook and infectious laugh. Our courtship was a whirlwind. Within 6 months we were engaged, and by the following spring we had an elaborate wedding at a vineyard overlooking the bay. Everything looked perfect in the photos. Her radiant smile, my proud stance, our families blending together in celebration. We bought a beautiful four-bedroom house in Oakwood Hills, an upscale neighborhood where successful young professionals displayed their achievements through manicured lawns and luxury cars. I threw myself into growing my architecture firm, often working 60-hour weeks to establish my reputation in the industry. Jessica climbed the corporate ladder at her marketing agency, bringing home stories of important clients and office politics. On weekends, we hosted dinner parties for colleagues and friends, presenting ourselves as the ideal power couple. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. I first noticed it about a year before everything fell apart. Jessica started coming home later, always with a perfectly reasonable explanation about client meetings or team-building events. Her phone would buzz constantly during dinner, and she would take calls in another room, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Just work stuff," she would say with a dismissive wave when I asked. "Nothing interesting." I buried my growing concerns under more work, designing high-concept buildings during the day and sketching personal projects late into the night while waiting for Jessica to come home. We were still going through the motions of a happy marriage, but our conversations had become superficial, focusing on schedules and social obligations rather than dreams and feelings. It was during a tense Thanksgiving dinner 3 years ago that I first met Sophia, Jessica's stepsister from her father's second marriage. While Jessica worked the room in her usual polished manner, Sophia sat quietly observing everyone with intelligent eyes and a slight smile. Where Jessica was all calculated charm and practiced elegance, Sophia radiated an authenticity that immediately drew me in. "So you are the famous Alfredo," she said when we were finally introduced. "Jessica has told me so many impressive things about your work, but nothing about how you see the world through those thoughtful eyes." That first conversation with Sophia lasted nearly an hour, ranging from architecture to philosophy to her own passion for mixed media art. Jessica eventually interrupted us, linking her arm through mine possessively and steering me toward her boss for important networking. Over the next few years, I only saw Sophia at occasional family gatherings. Each time we would find ourselves in deep conversation while Jessica flitted among the other guests. I noticed how Jessica would watch these interactions with narrowed eyes, though she never directly objected. 3 months before everything fell apart, Sophia moved to our city after ending a long-term relationship. Jessica reluctantly mentioned that her stepsister needed temporary housing, clearly expecting me to ignore the situation. Instead, I offered to help Sophia apartment hunt, drawing on my knowledge of the city's neighborhoods. "That is unnecessary," Jessica snapped. "She can figure it out herself." But I insisted, feeling it was the right thing to do. Over the course of 2 weekends, I showed Sophia several neighborhoods that might accommodate her art studio needs while fitting her limited budget. She eventually found a loft in the arts district with good natural light for her work. Jessica attended the housewarming but left early, claiming a headache. "Your wife seems stressed," Sophia observed after Jessica left. "Is everything okay between you two?" I deflected the question, not ready to admit even to myself how distant Jessica and I had become. Looking back now, I should have recognized the signs: the late nights getting later, the business trips becoming more frequent, the new jewelry appearing without explanation. The way she would turn her phone face down whenever I entered the room. But sometimes we choose not to see what is right in front of us until we have no choice. That fateful Friday started like any other. I went to work, spent the day in meetings with clients, and came home expecting to order takeout since Jessica had texted she would be working late again. I was surprised when I heard her key in the door just after 7. She walked in wearing a new dress. I had never seen her makeup perfect despite the long workday, a diamond bracelet glinting on her wrist. "You are home early," I said, closing my laptop where I had been reviewing project plans. Jessica set down her purse deliberately on the entryway table. She did not take off her coat. "We need to talk, Alfredo." Something in her tone made me sit up straighter. "Okay, what is going on?" She remained standing, maintaining physical and emotional distance. "I am leaving you. I have been seeing Thomas for the past 6 months, and we are getting serious. He is offering me everything you cannot." Thomas, her boss. The married man 20 years her senior, who had always looked at her with poorly disguised hunger during company events. 6 months. I repeated the timeline, clicking into place with all her late nights and weekend emergencies. "Yes," she continued, her voice oddly clinical. "I want you to move out by next weekend. I will be staying with Thomas until then. This house makes more sense for me given its proximity to headquarters." I stared at her, this stranger wearing my wife's face. 7 years of marriage dismissed in less than 7 sentences. No apology, no regret. Just cold, practical details about property division. "You expect me to just leave our home?" I asked, my voice calmer than I expected. She looked annoyed at my question. "Do not make this difficult, Alfredo. We both know this marriage has been over for months. You were just too absorbed in your boring buildings to notice I had moved on." Her cruelty was so unexpected that it momentarily left me speechless. In that silence, my phone buzzed with a text. I glanced down to see Sophia's name. "Just checking in. You have been quiet lately. Coffee sometime." Jessica noticed my expression change. "Who is that, Sophia?" I answered truthfully. "She wants to meet for coffee." Something dark flashed across Jessica's face. "My stepsister. You are texting my stepsister while I am trying to have a serious conversation about our marriage. You just told me our marriage is over," I pointed out. "And she just happened to text right now." Jessica snatched my phone, reading the message. "Have you been talking to her behind my back? Is that where you have been disappearing to on weekends?" The irony of her accusation was not lost on me. "I helped her find an apartment, Jessica. As a favor to you. I have not seen her in weeks. Do not contact her," Jessica said, throwing my phone back at me. "She has always been jealous of what I have. She will try to manipulate you against me." I looked at my wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, with new clarity. "I think you are projecting, Jessica. Sophia has only ever been kind about you despite how coldly you treat her." "Oh, please," Jessica scoffed. "She has been trying to steal my life since our parents married. Now she will try to steal you too." "I am not something to be stolen," I said quietly. "And right now you are the one who has been unfaithful." Jessica's expression hardened. "I am going to Thomas's place. When I return on Monday, I expect you to have your things packed." After she stormed out, I sat in our silent living room, surrounded by expensive furniture, chosen more for appearance than comfort. I picked up my phone and responded to Sophia. "Coffee would be great. Tomorrow morning." Her reply came quickly. "Perfect. The usual place at 10. That night I slept better than I had in months, as if a weight I had not even recognized had been lifted from my chest. The next morning I arrived early at the small cafe where Sophia and I had occasionally met when she first moved to town. She walked in wearing paint-splattered jeans and a blue sweater, her dark hair pulled back in a simple ponytail, the complete opposite of Jessica's always perfect appearance. "You look terrible," she said with characteristic directness as she slid into the seat across from me. What happened, I found myself telling her everything: Jessica's affair, her ultimatum, her accusations about Sophia herself. To my surprise, Sophia did not seem shocked. I knew she was seeing someone, she admitted. "I saw them together at a restaurant last month." I wanted to tell you, but she is my stepsister, and I thought maybe you knew, maybe you had an arrangement." She trailed off, looking miserable. "You were put in an impossible position," I assured her. "This is not your fault. There is something else you should know," Sophia said, hesitating. "Jessica has always been competitive with me. Even though she is the successful one, the beautiful one, the one with the perfect life, somehow she still sees me as a threat." "That makes no sense," I said. "She has everything." Sophia smiled sadly. "People who need everything often feel they have nothing. Jessica needs constant validation, constant winning. When my mom married her dad, Jessica made sure everyone knew she was the superior daughter in every way." Our coffee extended into lunch, and lunch stretched into an afternoon walk through the sculpture garden. Talking with Sophia felt easy, natural. She listened when I spoke and asked questions that made me think. By the time we parted ways, I felt more centered than I had in months. Over the next 2 weeks, as I packed my life into boxes and found a downtown apartment, Sophia became my unexpected support system. She helped me find furniture that actually reflected my taste rather than Jessica's carefully curated aesthetic. We spent an evening hanging my photography, a passion I had abandoned years ago because Jessica found it amateurish. Meanwhile, Jessica launched a campaign to control the narrative of our breakup. According to mutual friends, she was telling everyone I had been cold and distant, that I had driven her into Thomas's arms with my neglect. Some friends took her side immediately. Others reached out to check on my version of events. I kept things simple. Jessica found someone else. I am moving forward. The first time Sophia and I were seen together publicly was at a gallery opening for an artist friend of hers. We attended as friends, but I was acutely aware of how comfortable I felt in her presence, how much I looked forward to her insights on the artwork. When Jessica found out through social media posts, she showed up at my new apartment unannounced, pounding on the door until I opened it. "I knew it," she shouted, pushing past me into the living room. "You and my stepsister. How long has this been going on? Were you cheating on me with her the whole time?" "Jessica, nothing is going on between Sophia and me. We are friends. And even if there was something developing, you left me for your boss, remember. You do not get to dictate who I spend time with anymore." "She has always wanted what I have," Jessica continued as if I had not spoken. "First my father's attention, then my mother's approval, now my husband." "Ex-husband," I corrected gently. "Your choice, not mine." Before she could respond, there was another knock at the door. Sophia stood there holding a housewarming plant we had picked out the day before. "Bad timing," I said, with an apologetic grimace. "Oh, perfect timing," Jessica spat, turning her fury toward her stepsister. "Coming to mark your territory. Did you think I would not find out?" Sophia set the plant down carefully. "Jessica, you ended your marriage. Alfredo is my friend. That is all there is to it. Friend, please. I have seen how you look at him. You have been waiting for this opportunity since the day you met him." "That is enough," I interjected. "Jessica, you made your choice. You do not get to make mine too. You will regret this," Jessica hissed. "Both of you." She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. Sophia and I stood in awkward silence for a moment before she spoke. "She is hurting. Beneath all that anger, she is just hurting." I looked at Sophia with newfound admiration. Even after Jessica's accusations, she still found empathy for her stepsister. In that moment, I recognized that my feelings for Sophia had evolved beyond friendship, but I also knew the timing could not be worse. "We should probably cool things for a while," I suggested reluctantly. "Give the situation some space." Sophia nodded, but before leaving, she said something that stayed with me. "Sometimes the right path is not the easy one, but that does not make it wrong." After Jessica's dramatic exit from my apartment, things escalated quickly. Mutual friends began taking sides in what Jessica was now framing as a betrayal by both me and Sophia. Her version of events, that Sophia and I had been having an affair behind her back, spread through our social circle, despite having no basis in reality. The professional fallout came next. My architecture firm received a sudden influx of negative online reviews from anonymous accounts, all using suspiciously similar language about my untrustworthy character and poor attention to detail. A potential client canceled a major project meeting at the last minute, later admitting that someone had warned them about my personal issues affecting my work. Sophia experienced similar attacks. A gallery owner who had expressed interest in featuring her mixed media pieces suddenly withdrew the offer, citing scheduling conflicts. She later learned that Jessica had contacted the gallery owner directly, painting Sophia as unstable and unreliable. She is systematically trying to destroy both our reputations, Sophia said during one of our now clandestine coffee meetings. We had taken to meeting in a small cafe across town to avoid running into anyone who might report back to Jessica. I know, I sighed. My lawyer says the divorce proceedings are becoming unnecessarily complicated. Jessica is contesting everything, demanding items she never even cared about before. Despite Jessica's attempts to keep us apart, Sophia and I found ourselves growing closer. We were careful to maintain appropriate boundaries given the circumstances, but our conversations became a lifeline amid the chaos. Sophia understood the complex emotions I was navigating because she was experiencing her own version of them. One evening, about 2 months after Jessica's announcement, Sophia and I risked meeting for dinner at a small Italian restaurant downtown. We were deep in conversation about a collaborative project, combining my architectural vision with her artistic sensibilities for a community center renovation, when Jessica walked in with Thomas. The restaurant fell silent as Jessica spotted us. She gripped Thomas's arm, whispering something in his ear while glaring in our direction. Then, to my horror, she began approaching our table. "Well, is this not cozy?" she said loudly enough for nearby diners to hear. "My husband and my stepsister on a romantic date." "Jessica, please," I said quietly. "We are having dinner. As friends, and we are getting divorced. Your choice, remember, friends." She laughed bitterly. "Is that why you are holding hands across the table?" I looked down, realizing that somewhere during our conversation about design concepts, Sophia's hand had ended up beneath mine on the table. I did not pull away. "Jessica, you are making a scene," Sophia said calmly. "You are here with Thomas. You made your choice. Please let Alfredo make his." Jessica's face contorted with rage. "You, conniving little nobody, you have always been jealous of me, always trying to take what is mine." Thomas, who had been hanging back, looking uncomfortable, finally approached. "Jessica, that is enough. Let's go." "No, they need to hear this. She has always been pathetic, following me around, copying my life because she has none of her own." Thomas's expression changed as he watched Jessica's outburst. I recognized the look, the same dawning realization I had experienced that night in our living room. He was seeing a side of Jessica he had never witnessed before. "Jessica," he said firmly, "we are leaving. Now." As Thomas practically dragged Jessica from the restaurant, I turned to Sophia, who sat perfectly still, her face pale but composed. "Are you okay?" I asked. She nodded slowly. "I have been dealing with her version of me my entire life. The sad part is I never wanted what she had. I only wanted her to be happy." The next day I received an unexpected call from Jessica's father, Robert. He requested we meet for lunch alone. Concerned about another ambush, I almost refused, but curiosity won out. Robert was waiting at a quiet steakhouse when I arrived. He looked older than when I had last seen him at a family birthday party 6 months earlier. "Alfredo," he greeted me with a firm handshake. "Thank you for coming." "What can I do for you, Robert?" I asked, getting straight to the point. He sighed heavily. "I wanted to apologize for my daughter's behavior. Her mother and I raised her better than this." I was stunned. "I appreciate that. But why are you telling me?" "Because Jessica has been trying to turn the family against you and Sophia. She called a family meeting last night to demand we all cut ties with both of you." He shook his head wearily. "It did not go as she planned." "What happened?" Her mother spoke up. Said she had watched Jessica manipulate situations her entire life to always be the victim, always be the center of attention. Said she was tired of it. Robert looked down at his untouched water. 30 years of marriage, and I had never heard Martha speak so directly about our daughter's behavior. How did Jessica take that? Not well. She stormed out, but not before dropping what she clearly thought would be her winning move. He met my eyes directly. She announced she is pregnant with Thomas's child. The news hit me with unexpected force. Not jealousy, but a complicated mixture of relief and sadness. Relief that the divorce now felt completely right, sadness for the family we would never have. I see was all I could manage. Alfredo, I have always respected you. You were good to my daughter, better than she deserved toward the end. Whatever is or is not happening between you and Sophia, you both have my support. As our lunch concluded, Robert added one more thing. Just be careful. Jessica does not lose gracefully. Never has. His warning proved prophetic. As the divorce proceedings continued, Jessica's tactics became increasingly desperate. She contested every asset division, demanded alimony despite earning more than me, and repeatedly delayed scheduled mediations. Through it all, Sophia remained my steady support. Our relationship evolved slowly, cautiously, both of us aware of the complicated circumstances surrounding our connection. We were careful not to define things too quickly, giving each other space to process our respective emotional journeys. 6 months after Jessica walked out, I won a prestigious architectural competition for an eco-friendly community center. The same week, Sophia received news that her artwork had been selected for a prominent group exhibition. When the exhibition opened, I stood proudly beside her, no longer concerned about who might see us together. That night, as we celebrated at a quiet dinner, I finally put words to what had been growing between us. I think I am falling in love with you, I told her simply. And I know the timing and circumstances are complicated, but I want you to know how I feel. Sophia's eyes shimmered with emotion. I fell for you long before any of this happened, but I never would have acted on it. Never. You need to know that. I do know that, I assured her. It is one of the many reasons I love you. Later that night, my phone rang with Jessica's number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Alfredo, her voice slurred slightly, suggesting she had been drinking. I made a mistake. Jessica, it is late. We should talk when you are sober. Thomas left me, she continued, as if I had not spoken. He said I am too high maintenance. Can you believe that? After everything I gave up for him, I remained silent, unsure how to respond. I miss you, Alfredo. Our house feels empty without you. We could try again. I would be different this time. Jessica, you are having a baby with another man. We could make it work, she insisted. You always wanted children. You could be a father to my baby. The Jessica I had married would never have suggested something so impulsive, so poorly thought out. I wondered if I had ever really known her at all. I am sorry things did not work out with Thomas, I said gently. But our marriage is over. I have moved on. You need to do the same. It is because of her, is not it, my stepsister. She has poisoned you against me. No, Jessica. You did that all on your own. I ended the call feeling a strange sense of closure. The woman I had once built my life around now felt like a distant memory, someone I had known in another lifetime. 2 weeks later, Sophia's exhibition was vandalized the night before its public opening. Security footage clearly showed Jessica entering with a stolen keycard, systematically damaging several pieces, including Sophia's centerpiece installation. When confronted with the evidence by gallery security and police, Jessica broke down completely. The carefully constructed facade she had maintained crumbled, revealing the insecurity and rage that had been driving her actions all along. Sophia declined to press charges on the condition that Jessica seek professional help. Destroying my art will not fill whatever emptiness she feels, Sophia explained to me. Only she can do that work. 1 year later, Sophia and I stood on the balcony of our new apartment in Seattle, where we had relocated for a major architectural project combining our talents. The fresh start in a new city had been exactly what we needed. Do you ever regret how things happened? Sophia asked, leaning into me as we watched the sunset over the water. I considered the question carefully. I regret that Jessica was hurt, even though she brought much of it on herself. I regret not recognizing the problems in our marriage sooner, but I cannot regret finding you. My mother called yesterday, Sophia said. Jessica has completed her therapy program. She is doing better, apparently, more grounded. She and the baby are living with her parents for now. I am glad to hear that, I said sincerely. Everyone deserves a chance to heal. My own healing journey had been complicated but rewarding. The initial shock and humiliation of Jessica's betrayal had given way to valuable self-reflection. I had recognized patterns in our relationship that I never wanted to repeat. The emphasis on appearances over substance, the unspoken competition, the shallow connections to others. With Sophia, I had found something entirely different. Our relationship was built on genuine conversation, mutual support, and shared passions. We challenged each other creatively and emotionally, growing together rather than performing for others. I never thought betrayal could lead to such happiness, I admitted, pulling Sophia closer. Sometimes the worst moments lead us exactly where we need to be, she replied. Not because of the pain, but because of how we choose to respond to it. Her words resonated deeply. Throughout this entire experience, I had maintained my dignity, refusing to descend into the petty tactics Jessica had employed. That choice had not only preserved my self-respect, but it also opened the door to authentic connection with Sophia. Our relationship was not built on shared grievances against Jessica, but on genuine compatibility discovered during a difficult time. We had been careful to ensure our connection was real, not a reaction to what had happened. The irony was not lost on me. Jessica's fear that Sophia wanted to steal her life had become a self-fulfilling prophecy driven entirely by her own actions. Had she not betrayed me, had she not attacked Sophia, we likely would have remained just in-laws with a friendly rapport. As I stood there with Sophia in our new home, I felt profound gratitude for the unexpected path my life had taken. The worst betrayal had led to my greatest happiness, not because of the pain, but because it had revealed what truly mattered. I hope my story resonates with some of you watching today. Have you ever experienced a betrayal that ultimately led you somewhere better? Share your experiences in the comments below. And if this story touched you in any way, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more stories of resilience and unexpected second chances. Remember, sometimes the end of one chapter is just the beginning of a better story. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the courage to stand tall through your own life storm.